somebody would ask you what is happening, I'm jet lagged. If somebody would ask you, what is the most depressing day of the year? What's the most depressing day of the year? Sometimes people have different. Tisha B'Av's a depressing day. I had once guy at Or Sameach we were talking about. It was a group completely secular that came to the yeshiva for 2 months. So we were talking about Tisha B'Av and about what's going to happen. One of the guys raises his hand. He goes, Rabbi, I really don't enjoy Tisha B'Av. So I said to him, really? I mean, I kind of like that little headache, in the middle of the afternoon and a little bit of lower back pain from when you're sitting low on a chair. And the guy was just looking at me and said, so you don't enjoy it. So what? You got to enjoy everything? Got to enjoy it. No, you're a Purim guy, right? No, you're into Purim, no Tisha B'Av. I mean, that's part of it. Listen, you got to do it. So Tisha B'Av is a sad day. Yom Kippur is not a sad day at all, by the way. People sometimes say Yom Kippur is not a depressing day. It's not a sad day. It's an intense day. It's a very intense day. It's a very powerful day. It's not a sad day. If you go to court and they tell you, okay, we're going to wipe the slate clean. You're acquitted. No impeachment, right? The Senate votes you. You're innocent. That's not a sad day. So what is the most depressing day of the year for most people? You know what it is, gentlemen and ladies? Your birthday. Birthday is a depressing day. Why does there's a minhag across the world. What do people do on their birthday? They go out, they don't celebrate, they get drunk as a skunk. That's what they do. Celebrate is when you have a couple of drinks, right? When you get drunk and you're on the birthday, people go out and get smashed, right? That's what people do. Isn't that interesting? The whole world, everybody goes out on their birthday and gets smashed. Why? Because a birthday, when you're 15, so 16 is a good day because then you get your driver's license, then you can drive. And when you're 17, 18 is a good day because then you can drink. Right? When you're 20, 21 is a good birthday because you can drive and drink, right? But it's downhill from there, right? Every year, the birthday, and so what do people do? Everybody goes and everybody drinks on the birthday. You know why? The thought that time is passing is so overwhelming, so powerful, that I want to block out any rational thought. That's what's really going on. The idea, let's not even think about what this means. What it means is that we are 1 year closer, and as the old saying goes, they take you out horizontal. And nobody wants to think about that. And therefore what happens is the most depressing day of the year potentially. When you're young, it's a lot of fun. As you get older, the most depressing day of the year is the birthday. And if you know that it's true. And that's why everybody tries to make a big deal about it. Somebody says, hey, today's my birthday. Everybody goes, wow, happy birthday. Nobody cares. Right? Nobody cares. Do you care about anybody else's birthday? What do you make them think they care about yours? So the guy says, hey, today's my birthday. And I always say, hey, happy birthday. All you're thinking is July 3rd. What a dumb day for a birthday. Now, August 19th. Now that's a birthday. Yeah, of course, that's your own birthday. You understand? Nobody really cares. But it's that's what New Year's is the same thing. What happens on New Year's? The whole world celebrates New Year's. They go out in Times Square. And you got a bunch of really smart people who take off their shirts in sub-zero weather with the year painted across their chest, and then a bunch of drunks got 10, 9, 8, and they're counting. What are you celebrating for? What did you do this last year? Are you any better, wiser, wealthier? What have you accomplished? And what happens is the whole society drowns out any rational thought. Because if a person would stop and think about it, you realize the idea that the passage of time is potentially very, very depressing. I had a guy, somebody who actually lives in Los Angeles now. He once came to our Sameach years ago. He walked in, young man lives in Los Angeles today, he's from, has a nice, beautiful family. He came into our Sameach, and I started schmoozing with him. And at a certain point, I said to him, what's your goal in life? Very provocative question, isn't it? Right? What's your goal in life? That's a question that a lot of people have trouble answering. A lot of people don't push that thought away. I might know, so he says to me, look, he goes to Ohio State University, attends Ohio State University. And he's a member of the Ohio State University marching band. You know what the marching band is? At halftime of the football game, the marching band comes out and they annoy you for 20 minutes till the second half starts. That's the marching band. So in the biggest game of the year, Ohio State, my wife's from Columbus, by the way, that's where Ohio is. Not my fault, that's where she's from. And the biggest game of the year, Ohio plays Michigan. On the biggest game of the year. Ohio State plays Michigan. If you have Michigan license plates in Columbus on that weekend, you can forget about your car. Right? You forget about your tires, forget about your car, it's gone, forget it. So, at the biggest game of the year, the guy tells me, Ohio State plays Michigan, And at halftime, the marching band comes out and they spell out in human formation, they spell out the words Ohio State. Now this guy plays the tuba. And he said at the big game, the senior tuba player has the singular honor and distinction of being the guy who gets to dot the I in the word Ohio. He stands there with his tuba, he's the dot in the I. So the guy said to me, that's his goal in life. His goal is to dot the I. So I'm looking at him across the table, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, Rabbi, and what comes next? Then you get to cross the T. What exactly is his goal? Is to dot the I. Okay, I was hoping. You stop and think about that. Yeah, what comes next? You mean, and what are you going to do the next year? That's not your goal in life. That's your goal for the next couple of years. That's not your goal. That's your goal in life, is to dot the I. That's what the guy said. Then I went home, and I was thinking about this, and I realized, if you know anything about Hebrew dikduk, if some people like dikduk, right? Hebrew grammar, dikduk. You're probably a very lonely person if you do, but some people like grammar, like dikduk. Those are the type of people. They also drink Dr. Pepper. I don't know why that is, right? If you like dikduk, there's a certain type of person. So in Hebrew, a dot is called a dagesh, right? When you put a dot in a letter, it's called a dagesh. That's why it turns a soft letter into a hard letter. A sa becomes a ta, a cha becomes a ka. The dagesh, right, which in Hebrew means to emphasize. That's why it turns into a hard letter. You're emphasizing the sound. It's turning into a hard sound. It becomes a dagesh. So I thought about it and realized, that's not his goal. That's the goal of our entire society. The goal of the entire world is to put the emphasis on the I. That's the goal of the entire world. He was speaking for the whole society. To put the dot in the I, to put the dagesh on the I, that's the goal of an entire society. When a baby is born, a baby only knows one thing. A baby is aware of only one thing. You know what it is? A baby is aware of his existence. That's all he knows. He doesn't know his father, doesn't know his mother, doesn't know anything. He only knows that he exists, and he makes sure everybody around him knows that. There are certain people who live their entire life, they never get out of that stage. They live their entire life with an I exist, and I want everybody to be aware of that. And they never get past that. So when a person understands that, if we're going to determine, first of all, what's our goal? First of all, let's understand the society we live in, what the emphasis of the society is. Then we can start worrying about and thinking about what our goal in life is. So everybody knows there's a Mishnah in Pirkei Avos. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, Al shlosha dvorim ha'olam omed. The world stands on three things. Al ha, everybody together. Al ha to, ve'al ha da, ve'al ge lut chasadim. Okay, the world stands on three things. So the first idea, the first explanation is that the world was created that we should be involved in Torah, Avoda, and Gemilus Chasadim. Torah means the study of Torah, and Avoda means any form of davening. In the old days it was korbanos, it was sacrifices. Avoda is serving God, and Gemilus Chasadim is obviously bein adam l'chavero, anything that you do for anybody else. Right? Certainly what you don't do to other people, right? You don't cut people off in traffic, and you don't take people's seat in shul, right? You don't sit in somebody else's seat. That ever happen to you? Where somebody sits in your seat in your makom kavod in shul? So that's also an opportunity to work on your midos, by the way, on your midot. Did it ever happen to you? Somebody sitting in your seat in shul? So there are three types of people when that happens. There are three types of people. There's the first guy, you walk into shul, and you see a guy sitting in your seat, you just walk over to him and you kind of, you're in my seat. You thumb him out at third base, out. The second guy is the tzaddik. The tzaddik is the guy sees somebody in a seat, so he goes to the other side of the shul. He doesn't even want this guy to see him that he took his seat. He goes to the other, mamish tzaddik. Then you got the beinoni. You know what the beinoni is? The beinoni is the guy who walks over, he kind of stares at you. And then you look up and go, oh, is this yours? No, sit. That's the Beidoni, right? If I'm going to be a tzaddik, you're going to know about it, right? There's none of this sitting on the other side of the shul type of thing. So, Gemilus Chasadim involves anything that you do for other people, and certainly that we don't hurt other people. Now, that's the plain meaning. At a deeper level, every single person is an olam. Every single person is a world. Every single person is a microcosm. Every single person is a complete and entire world. And your job, al shlosha dvarim ha'olam omed, al shlosha dvarim ha'olam omed, I forget. I daven mincha with the Sfardis every day at Or Sameach. So I'm improving. I'm getting better. We do the only thing is I'm always a step out because they stand up, so I stand up. By the time I stand up, they're sitting down. I'm always a step behind them. They turn around, I turn around, they're all facing me already. You get a little mixed up. There's always a lot of this. And then the part that I really like is during Chazoras HaShatz, there's a lot of audience participation. Right? By the Ashkenazim there isn't, and by the Sephardim there's a lot. I get to say, Aleichem Shalom, Zichronam Livracha, Bekarov, The only problem, my problem is I say it the wrong time. He starts at Baruch Atah Hashem, Bekarov. No. So I'm trying. In any event, every single person, Al Shloshet Dvarim Ha'olam Omed, you're a world. Every single one of you is an individual. You are a world. And in your world, you have three relationships that you have to work on. You have to work on the relationship between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You have to work on the relationship between you and your fellow man. You have to work on the relationship between you and yourself. Al Shloshat Dvarim Ha'olam Omed Al Torah. Torah is the only way we can perfect ourselves. You have to study Torah. You can study Torah all day long in a kollel, and you can learn a daf yomi, and you could go to a chumash shir. It doesn't matter what it is, but you have to be involved in learning Torah. A man has to be involved. There's no two ways about it. You have to learn it. Barasi yetzer hara, barasi lo Torah tavlin. I created the evil inclination. Gentlemen, come sit. Sit up front over here. You got to get a good seat on the plane. First class. You can sit in the second row if you're too nervous. I'd sit in the second row if I were you. Ala Torah, that means that the relationship between me and myself starts with Torah study. The relationship between me and God is obviously avodah. Avodah is tefillah. We daven. We're completely submitting ourselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Gemilut chasadim means anything that we do for other people. I just want to give you an example. Person who learns Torah, if somebody has, here's an example again, we go back to this coronavirus running around the world. Now, if I tell you that there's one professor in the world who knows the cure, it's like one of those TV shows or a movie. There's one guy who knows the cure, the bad guys want to kill him, and the good guys have to kill the bad guys before they kill him. He's the only guy, and you got 24 hours to do it, right? That sort of thing. So, there's one professor in the world who got the cure to the coronavirus. If a person gets a hold of the cure, they'll be cured. You could try every other cure in the world, it's not going to work. It's got to be that cure. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the disease, it's called the Yetzer Hara. That's a disease, especially for men, by the way, especially for men. The disease that the men have is called the Yetzer Hara. And the only way, do you know that there's a statement in the Zohar, unbelievable statement, ladies. The Zohar says a little girl is a woman from the earliest age. A little girl is a woman from the earliest age. And a man is a little boy always. Men are little boys, right? We like to play. That's the way it works, right? We have outside the yeshiva at Or Sameach, they're building now. They're building a new base medrash outside. There's a crane out there. They're building. All these guys are building. All I want to do, I keep every day. I want to get into that crane and I want to drive it. I want to put on a hard hat and I just want to get in there for about 15 minutes. That's all I want. I want to give you. I'm in the middle of shear and all I'm doing is looking at that crane. That's the little boy. Men like to play. Ever watch the difference between girls and men davening? Watch a little girl daven. My daughter, she davens like this. I see a little girl in the garden, 7 years old. All by herself, without anybody watching her. All by herself. And then whatever it says, she says the whole page. Zelo omrim b'rosh chodesh. Zelo omrim b'rosh chodesh. Hayom yom rishon b'Shabbat. Hayom yom sheni b'Shabbat. Hayom yom shlishi b'Shabbat. Yalav yalav. It doesn't matter. It's not Rosh Chodesh. It doesn't matter. That's how a girl does. Ever see? But what do men look like when they watch a little boy davening? Ever see? You were little boys. You know what it's like. And you're done. All right, finish before it even starts. And if two little boys are together, right? That's what men are. That's what we are. That's called the Yetzer Hara. There's only one way to get rid of it. The only way to get rid of it is through Torah. That's the first thing. And by the way, what Torah does for men, Tznius does for women. Tznius, work here, that's what the Vilna Gaon says. What men overcome through Torah, women, their job is tznius. That's the parallel. Avoda means, what is tefillah really? What is tefillah? What is davening about? Daven 3 times a day, we davening all day, we're davening. Jews are always davening, right? Every day. I heard Rav Vigdor Miller once said, there's a shul, and because they go to daven mincha and marav. Somebody once said, Jews daven twice a day. We daven shachris, and we daven mincha marav. We daven twice a day. So there's a shul, they daven mincha and marav. Between mincha and marav, the Rav gets up to speak for a few minutes. So he says, gentlemen, Rabbi say, we have to think about Hashem, and we have to bring Hashem into our life, and we have to be focused on Hashem. Finally, an old guy in the back, he says, come on, Rabbi, forget about Hashem. Let's start davening Marav already. So, you stop and think about that. That's a little, what is davening? Davening is focus. Davening is focus. That means that 3 times a day, 3 times, no matter what we're doing, we got to get focused. And come in, please come in. We're very informal here. See, we even drink in the middle. 3 times a day, we have to get focused. You're in the middle of a work day. All of a sudden, in the middle of mincha, all of a sudden, in the middle of a work day, men are davening mincha. My wife, there was a guy in the Diamond District in New York. So a non-Jew comes over to him. He says, I know why you Jews are so good at business. Because I see you guys, every day about 10 or 12 of you stand there for 15 minutes thinking about business in the middle of the day. We hope not. My wife, I walked in, my wife, I told you she lives in Columbus. I was in Columbus years ago. So I walk into my brother-in-law was an accountant in a department store. So I walk in, I had to speak to him, and a young lady behind the counter is obviously not Jewish. I said, excuse me, do you know where Mr. Cohn is? She says to me, he's in Minyan. And I got to understand, Columbus is like almost redneck, borderline rednecky, lower middle class, upper lower class. They've not seen a lot of Jews. And I said to her, where's Mr. Cohn? She goes, he's in Minyan. Like, she couldn't have said what I thought she said. I mean, picture Elvis Presley saying Minyan. So I said, where is this here Minyan? So she goes in the second office in the back, the second office on the right. So I didn't imagine what's she talking about? So I walk in, and sure enough, in the middle of the day in Columbus, Ohio, there are 12 guys are standing there davening mincha. They got a minyan together. What's the purpose of that? The purpose is to make contact. The purpose is that we want to make a connection, maintain the connection with the Rebbeinu Shalom. That in the course of a day, we make 100 brachas a day. 100 brachas a day, gentlemen. Yeah, we do that? 100 brachas a day we're supposed to make. I know two people that I've met in my life. Every time you meet them, all day long, you can say to the guy, what number are you on? 83. He could tell you what number bracha he's on. That's an amazing thing, right? I could tell you what number of bracha I'm on right when I wake up in the morning. I'm on 0, right? After that, I lose track, right? This guy knows all day long. He knows what bracha he's on. So the whole point is to maintain connection. The whole point is that in the middle of the day, my wife once said to me, from women, you go out with your husband, you go out to eat at night, and there's always, something. You go out with your husband, it could be during the day, at night, there's always like, I got to go down to Mincha now. I'm sitting at the restaurant, 1 second, I got to go catch a Ma'ariv. Right? There's always, she says you can never sit there. Your men always have to run away. Which, by the way, this is just between me and you. That's a great thing when you're out with your wife's family. Oh, sorry, got to go down Ma'ariv, and then you disappear. You come back 2 days later. Where were you? Oh, Mashi Baruch, Amori Dageshem. It took a while. So that's our fallback position if we ever need one. The whole point is to maintain connection. The whole point is that we maintain the connection with the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's the whole point of the thing. So Torah is to improve ourselves. Avoda is the Rebbeinu Shalom. And Gemilus Chasadim is the relationship between man and his fellow man. Now what that means is, sometimes people would like to, I heard a story, I have to tell you a story, I heard from Rav Shimshon Pincus about 4 days before he was nifter. One of the last talks he ever gave. So he told a story. He said there was a guy who graduated medical school, And he decided he started his residency. So he went to the hospital. And at the hospital, you can hear in the back now? Everybody can hear in the back? Okay. He started his residency. And in the night of his residency, he goes to the hospital. And he's a young guy who wants to do a good job, wants to perform well. So the main doctor says to him, listen, you're going to be on the night shift, and you're going to be in charge of the entire ward of the hospital. It's a skeleton staff. If at any point you feel that you're overwhelmed, pick up a phone and call, and we'll send in reinforcements. Don't try to do everything on your own. The guy says, okay, but he wants to make a good impression. He wants to put on a good showing. So he runs around all night long, injections, examinations, runs from one to the other. In the course of the evening, a little old man died. So the family sued him for malpractice. So he's in court, and he could tell that the court case was not going well for him. And at the end, the judge says, would you like to say anything before I pass sentence? So he says, yes, I know that you're going to be very harsh with me, and I don't understand why. Here I was, I ran around all night long. I didn't sleep for a second. I didn't take any breaks. I didn't catnap. And I know that you're going to be very stiff with me. What did I do wrong? So the judge starts laughing. He says, you fool. Who told you to do everything on your own? You were told that if you're overwhelmed, pick up a phone and call for reinforcements. We'll send in reinforcements. Who told you to do everything on your own? Every human being wants to be successful. We all want to be successful in all areas of life. Everybody wants to be seen as a successful person. Banei, chaye, family life, health, children, everything. Who told us? And we want to do it on our own. The Ribono Shalom says, who told you to do it on your own? Pick up a sitter and make a call. Pick up a sitter and there's a connection. Maintain the connection. And that's exactly the purpose. That in the course of the day, no matter what we're doing, we pick up, we make a connection. And of course, even after you eat, can you imagine? Every time, my kids, Shabbos morning, my kids used to play shul. Shabbos morning, I'm sure they're not the only kids. Little frum kids, what do they play Shabbos morning? One of them takes a big towel and puts it over. He's the chazan, right? And there's another guy is the gabbai. And the third guy is the guy who yells at the gabbai, right? And then the fourth guy, and it always ends with an ufruf, right? They always throw candy, right? They play, they play shul. The girls never played shul. The girls always played wedding. Right? I never understood that game. It was very complicated. I watched my daughters. I never understood wedding because one of them's the chassan, one's the kala, but they both walk around each other 7 times, right? One's the mother-in-law, and one has a baby. So they lost me. That one I didn't understand. But the boy, they're playing. Do you think Catholic kids play church? Do Catholic kids play? Okay, you bring you come here. I got the hammer and nails this week. Yeah, we're gonna nail. No. I did it last week. I still have the Band-Aid on. No. Take him. I don't think that's a game they play. They maybe the wine and the wafers, but not the hammer and the nails. Right? And from kids, they play shul. That's a part of our life. That's who we are. That's who a Jew is. Maintaining the connection. You eat. After you eat, you bench. We bench. Right? You make a bracha before, you make a bracha. You're constantly davening. Rabbi Victor Miller once said, also a profound insight. Profound. He said, it's a good idea, after you bench, thank Hashem for the food. Think about that. Think about that. All day long. That's what we're doing all day long. And Gemilus Chasodim. What is Gemilus Chasodim? People sometimes say, I've had people say to me, I wish I could do more chesed. I don't know where there are opportunities to do chesed. I wish I could do more chesed. I wish I had more opportunities to help people. I'm going to tell you something. A person who wants to help people, you'll find ways to help. Didn't your mother ever say to you, go in the back room and get me the orange towel? And you go in the back room and you're like, I don't see it. I can't find it. Husbands also, right? Can you bring me the towel? I can't find it. It never happened to you. I can't find it. And she comes walking out. It's right in front of your eyes, right? What happened? And if she would have told you, there's a $20 bill in there, do you think you would have found it? Oh, would I have found it, right? Oh, would I have found it? Hello. Why? Because when you really want to find it, you'll find it. Do you know that it says Avram Avinu, when he goes out and sees the guests, do you know he sent Eliezer first, the Medrash says? He sent Eliezer out to go find the guests. And Eliezer comes back, he says, I didn't find any guests. So Avraham Avinu said, Les himnusa ba'avde. You can't rely on the slave. Can't rely on the slave. And Avraham Avinu goes out himself. Avraham Avinu goes out himself to go look, and he finds them. Why didn't Eliezer find them? You know why? Because Eliezer wasn't looking for them. What Eliezer means? I'm going to go find guests now. If I go out and find guests, that means I'm going to have to do the work in the house. He's the servant. So Eliezer, if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. If you really want to find it, you'll find it. You want to find ways to help people, I guarantee you. It could be whether you do something physically. It could be a kind word to somebody. It could be something that you do financially. A million and one ways. But it's got to be something you want to do. I once walked out, my wife sent me on an Erev Shabbos. Boiling hot Friday afternoon. So, in Israel they have those big green garbage dumpsters on the corner. You ever see those garbage, those big garbage, you've seen them, you've been to Israel, right? You see those guys, they got these big garbage cans, those garbage, and so I walk out there, it's boiling hot Friday afternoon. I walk out there, and I see there's a guy, one of my neighbors from across the street, he's halfway up and in, reaching into this dumpster. I get over there, his feet weren't even on the ground. He's like, reaching. So, I walk over, and I said, do you need help getting in? He didn't think it was fun either. So, okay, I watch him. He's good. He pulls out an empty cardboard box. He crushes it up, and he throws it back in. And he jumps up again, and again, reaches out, pulls out another cardboard box, crushes it up, and he throws it back in. Now, far be it for me to judge anybody else's hobbies. But, I've never seen anybody go cardboard fishing and he jumps up. So I said, what are you doing? So he said to me, oh, maybe you haven't heard. On Motzei Shabbos, there's going to be a municipal strike. They're not going to be collecting the garbage. I want to make enough room in the garbage dumpster that the neighbors on the block shouldn't be inconvenienced. Right? So you stop and think, and here I'm watching it. And even while he's doing it, I didn't realize what he was doing. And he's doing it. I mean, the person's looking. You're looking for it. If you look for it, you find it. But a person has to want to find it. That's the first rule. By the way, I generally announce, please turn off all cell phones before you start. I forget. So far, you've been very good, by the way. You've been really, really good. Cell phones go off they go off at shul, right? Go off at weddings. They go off in shul. They go off all the time. So the worst cell phone story that I heard was the one that went off at a funeral, right? And went off in the grave. In the middle of the eulogy, the rabbi was speaking, old Zalman, he was really this and that, and all of a sudden, or worse yet, a Shweki song, right out of the grave. No, right. So what had happened was one of the members of the Chevra Kadisha, as he bent over to put the body into the grave, his cell phone fell out into the grave. So the cell phone went off. True story. Then a hand shoots out, says, Rabbi, it's for you. So, what it boils down to is a person having a certain amount of focus. Now, I want to take this to a place, a very, very important idea, a fundamental idea, and it's something that we should internalize. Are there any questions so far? Any questions so far? Everybody got it all worked out? Excellent. There's a mitzvah at the end of this week's Parsha, Parshas Yisro. Right at the end of the Parsha, this week's Parsha, I didn't realize. I was thinking I'm jet lagged in Israel. We're in Israel, we're 3 weeks off. Right at the end of the Parsha, Parshas Yisro, what does it say? Don't build steps on the Mizbeach. V'lo sale b'malos al Mizbechi. Don't build steps on the Mizbeach. When you have the altar in the base of Mikdash, so you build a ramp. There's a ramp going up to the Mizbeach, not steps. Okay, now I want to ask you a question. Do you know that is, what do you call it? It's considered one of the 613 mitzvot in the Torah. They're Taryag mitzvot. That is one of the 613 mitzvot. Don't build steps on the Mizbeach, go up the Mizbeach on a ramp. Now I want to ask you something. Let's take the numbers. First of all, how many people are allowed to go to the Mizbeach in the Beis HaMikdash? Before anything else, 50.1% of the population are not allowed to go there. You know which 50.1% that is? Them. Right? No women. 50.1. Yes, gentlemen, we're still lagging behind. Those are the statistics. It is 50.1 to 49.9. Right? Why that is, we don't know, but that's what it is. So it's 50.1 in the thing, that's the statistic. But that 50.1% this mitzvah doesn't apply to you, right? Because you can't go to the Mizbech in the Beis HaMikdash. Now, 1 second. Of all the men, how many of you are Kohanim? How many of you are not Kohanim? Those of you who didn't raise your hands, you got to be one or the other. It's either you are a Kohen or you're not a Kohen. We can't have this. No, there's no. I'm not playing. Yeah, everybody's in on this. So now let's see this again. How many of you are not Kohanim? Got a little group cooperation finally. Those of you who are not Kohanim, how many of you are Leviim? If you're good, one day I'll let you wash my hands. I'm a Kohen, right? How many of you are firstborns? All right, so if he doesn't show up in shul, then we'll use you. How many of you are neither? How many of you are not firstborn? You can't even substitute. How do you like that? How do you like that? So how many Kohanim are there in the room? 4 of us? Well, that's 2. That means I'm going to have some competition for truma. No, I don't know. That's more competition than I expected. I thought I have an in over here. All right. Well, when you have gefilte fish, so you look for me, right? That's okay. No, not gefilte fish. No. I don't either. So how many people does this mitzvah apply to? It applies to 50% of the population is out right off the bat. And of the rest of the 50% of the population, about 45% is out right off the bat. So you're talking about 5% of the population, and it's called one of the Taryag mitzvahs. To build a ramp on the Mizbeach. What does that mean? The answer is that in every religion, in every religious system, there's something called devotion and dedication to whoever it is they're worshiping. In every religion they worship, and in every religion there are sacrifices or whatever it is that they do. The Mizbeach, the altar in the Beis HaMikdash, represents our attempt. A Mizbeach represents our dedication. Climbing up the Mizbeach represents our attempt to get to the top of the Mizbeach. Our attempt to grow as a Torah Jew. That's our goal in life. Our goal in life is to grow. If anybody says to you, what's your goal in life? My goal in life is not to become. My goal in life is not to learn Shas 100 times. That's not my goal. Those are all means to the goal. There's one goal in life for a Torah Jew. The goal for a Torah Jew is to grow. It's growing by chesed, it's growing by tefillah, it's growing with tzedakah, it's growing with tznius, it's growing. I don't care what you do. The point, the goal of life is to grow. That's what we're here for. Sometimes people try to think, who am I really? Am I the guy who, sometimes don't you ever get that feeling like Elecha Dodi, or you go to a shir and you feel really, really connected. You have a good davening, you feel really connected, you think to yourself, is that really me? Am I the guy who's so devoted? Yet at night, I'm doing things which are not exactly what symbol of devotion? The answer is, you don't have to define who you are. You don't need a definition. You just need to grow. You need to grow every day to grow. Allah Kadosh Baruch Hu will define it. You don't have to define it. You just need to grow. You know what a ramp means? If there are steps leading up to the Mizbeach. You know what the difference between a ramp and the steps are? What's the difference? Anybody know? What's the difference between ramp and the steps? Yes?
Ramp, if you aren't going out, you're going to fall down.
Excellent. Very good. That means on steps, you can walk up the steps and you can stop. I've even heard people sometimes use an expression, I'm happy with my level. I'm comfortable with my level. There's a new expression nowadays. People use my comfort zone. It's not in my comfort zone. Everything nowadays is an expression. It's all psychology nowadays. Parents have to be psychologists nowadays. They got all. When we were growing up, my father wasn't a psychologist. My father, Olav Shalom, was a physical therapist. Right? That took care of it. There was no psychology. There was physical therapy. That took care of it. 1 or 2 good sessions, and the patient was straightened out. That's what the. So a person understands. So the guy says, "I'm comfortable with my level." Yeah, but who says Ribono Shalom is comfortable with your level? There's no level. Steps means that's it. I'm no longer growing. That's not Judaism. Judaism is a ramp. The ramp means if you're not pushing forward, you're sliding backwards. A person always has to grow. On the other hand, there's another difference. The difference is that on a step, everybody takes the exact same step. On a step, let's say the steps are 8 inches apart, everybody has to walk up 8 inches at a time. That's also not accurate. Because the way he grows is not the way you grow. And the way you grow is not the way you grow. The way she grows is not the way you grow. Each person has to take steps that are right for them. Each person has to progress at their pace, not at somebody else's pace. But you have to progress. You have to progress. There's no in between. On the one hand, you have to grow. There's no end to growth. What was the name of the guy? Toscanini, the famous conductor. You never heard of him? Oh, good. Then I can make up any name I want. So we'll call him Toscanini. There was a guy named Toscanini. He was a famous. What do you call it? The conductor? I think it was Toscanini, Arturo Toscanini, one of the most famous conductors in history. And he was about 95 years old, and he was practicing on the violin. And somebody said to him, "What are you practicing for?" You're 95 and you're the best, you're the top guy in the world. And Toscanini said, "You're never done. You can always get better." There was a guy went to college, university. So the first day of university, the students are all signing up for courses. So there's an older man there. So the guy looks at him, and he sees this older man is standing in line. So the guy says to him, "Excuse me, sir, could I ask you what you're doing here?" So he says, "Yes, I never graduated college." Oh, not me, by the way. I never graduated college. I want to get a degree. I never went to college. So the guy says, "Can I ask you a question? How old are you?" So I'm 73. He says, "Well, it takes 4 years to get a degree." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, in 4 years, you're going to be 77. So the guy says, "Yeah, but in 4 years, I'm going to be 77 anyway. I'd rather be 77 with a degree than without a degree." Person says, "You want to learn Daf Yomi?" "No, it takes 7 years to It'll be 7 years till I finish Daf Yomi." "Yeah, but you're going to be around in 7 years anyway, Mr. Shah, right? Would you be around with the Daf Yomi or without the Daf Yomi? Right? Not going away. Doesn't have to, let's finish. And therefore a person has to know that the goal of life is to grow. On the one hand, it's at our own pace. On the other hand, there's got to be constant growth. Finally, the New York Times had a board meeting and a board of directors. They had to decide on a font for the New York Times. What type of print were they going to use for the New York Times? So they decided to use a font where you don't have to dot the I. We started with a dot the I story. In the New York Times, they decided they won't dot the I. They had a board of directors meeting going on years ago. You know why? Because they made a calculation. You sell 10 million newspapers a day. In the course of a year, the ink that they would save on not dotting the I's would net them millions of dollars. So they decided not to dot the I in the New York Times. Now, I got advice from the New York Times. You can stop crossing the T's. Right? They'll save you even more ink. And if you close the newspaper completely, then it'll save you a lot of money. And they'll call you, so you'll be happy. But okay, for a different time. Not dotting that. Now, if I would show you, here's the New York Times. There's no dot right over there. Did that save them money? Insignificant. 5 dots. Insignificant. You take a look at it. Yeah, but if it's millions and millions of dots over and over, it accumulates. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. Oh, come on, how could I change? How could I improve? How could I grow? You went to davening today, you're growing. You went to a shiur today, you're growing. You did an act of chesed, you're growing. You do another act, you're going to grow some more. But it means that we have to take the steps. How much, how often, how much each individual at our own pace. Each person with whatever your busy schedules are, whatever you can do. But a person always has to stay focused on the growth. And I conclude with the following. Yaakov Avinu fights with Sarah Shel Esav, the Malach of Esav. An unbelievable thought that I heard this in B'Sheber Tzibayir Zilberberg. It's such a powerful idea for us. And it applies to every single one of us. And I know, I'll tell you why in a second. Yaakov Avinu fights with the Malach, Sarah Shel Esav. They fight it out. And then they wrestle. And it says, Vayei Avek Ish Imo Ad Olos HaShachar. They wrestled And they kicked up dust. The Vayei Avek, the Hebrew word avak. Avak means dust. They kicked up dust. So the Gemara says, how high did the dust go? You know, two guys are wrestling around. You know, a guy slides into a base, dust, there's a cloud of dust. Two guys are wrestling around, there's a cloud of dust. How high did the dust go up? Says the Gemara. It went all the way up to the Kisei HaKavod. That's pretty high. That's pretty high. Kick up dust to the Kisei HaKavod. I only have one question. So? I mean, why do we care? What does that mean? Okay, they kicked up dust to the Kisei, and they only kicked it up halfway up the building. So, that would also be pretty good. What does it mean they kicked up dust to the Kisei HaKavod? So you'll notice, Rabbi, it doesn't say the victory over the Malach went up to the Kisei HaKavod. It says the dust of the struggle went up to the Kisei HaKavod. That means the effort to overcome, that's what went up to the Kisei HaKavod, not the results. Weren't you in school, they said to you, it's the effort that counts. We want to see some effort. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. That's our growth. We have to grow, and the growth is by making the effort. Sometimes it's a little difficult. You get up in the morning, I don't think I want to go to Minyan this morning. I got news for you. I've been going to Minyan probably longer than some of you have over the years. It's difficult every morning. It's still a challenge. Every morning I'm tired, by the way. Every morning. We're all tired. Everybody would like to sleep a little more. Who doesn't want to sleep a little bit more? Except for my kids. Now it's my grandkids. Right? They don't want to sleep. Adults always want to sleep. Adults always, ask anybody over the age of about 20. Hi, how you doing? So tired. I'm so tired. Right? What are you tired about? You just woke up. What are you tired about? 11 in the morning. I'm so tired. Right? Ask a little kid. Little kids, they're never tired. Kids are never tired. Never want to go to sleep. 3-year-olds, put a 3-year-old to sleep. He's always up. Yeah, no, they want to go to sleep. Here's a knock at the door. Kid's up in his crib already. He's about to fall asleep. Knock his door. Who's at the door? Uncle L's at the door. Kid wants to come out. All I want to say to hey kid, you go out. You sit with him. I'll go to sleep. I know the man. Right? You talk to Uncle L. Kids always want, it's all new. Adults, I'm tired. Been there, done that. That's our job, Rabbi say. The job is to make the effort. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. We're an olam. Every one of us is a world. We have 3 areas: Torah, Avoda, Gemilas, Chasadim. We have to constantly grow. We have to grow at our own pace, and we get rewarded based on the Ratzon. What Hashem wants is we get rewarded based on the effort that we put in. Good night, everybody.